Hi everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight I'll be reviewing the match which concluded about 2 to 3 hours ago. It was the 2022 Super League semi-final between St Helens and Salford. This one was being played at the totally wicked stadium, aka Lantry Park. The match finished 9-12 in favour of St Helens. The tries for St Helens, 2 tries to Joe Batchelor, 1 to Benison, and for Salford, Callum Watkins and Braley got the tries for them. And of course, for St Helens, Makinson kicked the goals. Johnny Lomax got a drop goal. And for Salford, there were 2 converted goals from Mark Sneed. Going into this match, St Helens were the favourites to win this game and to progress to their 4th straight grand final. However, not everyone was tipping St Helens. There was an outside chance of Salford causing an upset. And certainly for St Helens, they knew that if they showed up to this game not in the right frame of mind, if they thought that Salford were just going to be a pushover, they had another thing coming, because Salford have been a very good team towards the back end of the year. Also, the news coming into this match where Alex Walmsley were ruled out for the rest of the season and the World Cup campaign with a foot injury, and for Salford, massive blow for them. Brodie Croft being ruled out with concussion, so that meant that he missed the match he would play if they made the grand final. So the start of the match, I thought that St Helens in that first half were very good, especially in that first 20 to 25 minute mark. They were really getting quick play of the balls, and through the likes of Ignatius Passy, Conrad Hurrell, and the likes of Morgan Knowles, people like that, they were getting right on the front foot and they were getting down towards the danger zone of Salford. And especially some of the passes that Johnny Lomax was throwing were really causing trouble for Salford in defence. And it was one of the kicks that Johnny Lomax put through the defence early on in the game, around about the 10-minute mark, which saw Joe Batchelor cross over for a try, but however it was ruled out due to Joe Batchelor touching the ball down on the goal line there in the dead end zone, so it was ruled a no try. And then just after that, Johnny Lomax tried another kick through the defence. This time Joe Batchelor managed to scoop that up and score a try. After that, I thought that especially in that first 20 to 25 minute period, Salford really struggled to get out of their own end. I think for that first 20 to 25 minute, they didn't even have one play of the ball in St Helens half of the field. They were stuck down their own in goal. They made a couple of errors, and St Helens were just attack on their goal line. And that's how the second try come about. It was another try through the combination between Johnny Lomax and Batchelor. This time it was a lovely short ball, and Joe Batchelor scored over there towards the right-hand side of the field to make it 12 points to nil in favour of St Helens. For nearly the first half hour of the game, Salford didn't really do much to trouble St Helens whatsoever, but they got something that went in their favour. When they actually finally got down towards St Helens' end of the field, Morgan Knowles for St Helens decided to yank the arm of Atkin, and as a result he was sent for a yellow card, 10 in the bin. Some people describe this tackle as like a chicken wing, so it's something that's trying to be outlawed from the game. Morgan Knowles decided to twist and pull the arm of the Salford player, and he was sent for 10. In my personal opinion, there wasn't really much of a yank of the arm, but the referee saw it different, decided to send Morgan Knowles to the bin. And that first set after Morgan Knowles went off, Salford went to the right-hand side of the field and Callum Watkins crossed over for their only try of the first half. Right towards the end of that first half, there was also another chance for Joe Batchelor to score another try to get his hat-trick, but he dropped the ball over the line from another Johnny Lomax kick. And right on half-time, I should say, Johnny Lomax kicked a drop goal to make it 13 points to 6 in favour of St Helens at half-time. And I really thought that despite that really daft play by Morgan Knowles, St Helens were definitely on top going into that second half against Salford. Just before the commencement of the second half, it was announced that Salford's Andy Ackers had failed his HIA test. In the first moments of the first half, he went into a tackle and he come off second best, and I could tell straight away that he weren't going to come back, but it proved to be the case, and that were a massive blow for Salford going into the second half. I thought in the second half, in that first 10 to 20 minute period, it just seemed more of the same from St Helens. They just kept getting through their sets, really running hard with the ball and tackling hard, and they were really not given much of a chance for Salford to get out of their own end. Pretty much St Helens were camped down once again in Salford's end of the field. They had a couple of chances to score a try. One of them was another kick through Johnny Lomax. This time Matautia failed to gather the ball, otherwise he would have scored. But I think Ken Seo from Salford did a good job to shield Matautia from getting that ball. And once again, the second try, it kind of come from nothing. So St Helens were on top, and it were a fifth tackle play. Johnny Lomax, instead of just deciding to go for the safe and easy option of going for a bong or a kick downfield, he got caught with the ball. He tried to kick it. Salford quickly got the ball. The ball went out to the left. It went through the hands of Laffard and Joe Burgess. He passed it back on the inside, and Braley scored a try for Salford, and momentum started to go back in Salford's favour. They made that 13 points to 12, and there was still a long way to go in the match, and this match could really go either way. And Salford started to get some possession. They started to get down towards St Helens' end of the field, and they even scored another try, but this time it was ruled for obstruction. A couple of the Salford players got their players mixed up, and they obviously caused a Shepherd obstruction, so that try was ruled out, thankfully for St Helens. And just when it looked like Salford were potentially maybe going to take the lead, once again Johnny Lomax, just like he did last year in the grand final, he ran at the line, he put through a kick, and Benison was on the end of that for St Helens, and he scored. Makinson converted the goal, made it 9 points to 12, and he thought at that stage that St Helens were home. But this is where I think possibly one of the most controversial moments in Super League history, and I think this will be something that'll be talked about for a while. It was about 10 minutes to go, a kick was put through, Salford had the ball, a kick was put through, and racing for the ball was Tim Laffey. He was dragged down by Tommy Makinson, and Tommy Makinson was given a yellow card, sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes, which meant that he would take no further part in the match. At that stage, there were about 6 minutes to go. The Salford players surrounded the referee. They were saying, let's take this to the video referee. This is a professional foul. This is a penalty try. The referee didn't want an out of it. He said, it's a yellow card and out more. I think he even heard him say that Laffey wouldn't have got to the ball. In my own personal opinion, I think that if Laffey did get to the ball, there probably would have been a couple of blades of grass in it. I think it would have been maybe similar to Batchelor's no try in the first half, where the ball would touch the white stripe there. But they decided to go with that, and obviously this is going to be a talking point for a very long time. One thing I will point out though, in the first half, for that no try, the first one through Johnny Lomax to Batchelor, Mark Sneed held back Batchelor for maybe a split second or so. He grabbed his hand or he grabbed his arm and held him back from running for the ball, and the St Helens supporters and the players on the pitch were yelling about that, and the referee once again said there was nought in it and that there was no case to answer for. So in both of these, the referee said no case to answer for. So the full-time score finished 9 points to 12. There was no further points in the match. Salford fans and a few people that I know say that Salford were robbed, but even if they did get that penalty try, it would have made it 9 points to 18 with about 4-5 minutes to go. Anything could have happened. Maybe Salford might not have scored any further points. We just don't know. Potentially, see if it were like a 18-14 scoreline or a 14-all, and that happened, and maybe, yes, you could say that try has cost Salford the match. But the fact that St Helens had that 1 point, even if they did get back to 19 points to 18, who knows whether Salford would have scored another try or would have got a drop goal. It's just something that I think it's going to be a talking point for a very long time. Of course, Salford fans are going to be very upset with that, but as I point out in the first half, the same thing happened to St Helens, and the referee blew it away and said, no, there's nothing to answer for there. So St Helens go into the grand final now, fourth straight grand final, and this time they play against Leeds. I tell you one thing, St Helens made it really hard today. I think they made it harder than what it should have been. Them two tries that St Helens conceded by Salford, they were just off daft things. The first one through Morgan Knowles and the second one through Johnny Lomax. That both could have been avoided. Other than that, Salford didn't really throw too much at St Helens throughout the entire match. I think Salford defended very bravely, but once again, I think on another day, them kicks that Johnny Lomax put through that were fumbled over the line, they would have been converted. So it could have been a different scoreline. I agree with the man of the match. I believe that Johnny Lomax, some of the plays that he did today were magic and he deserved man of the match. I thought that 1 through to 17 for both teams, every player on the pitch gave their all. I don't think there were a bad player out there. I think all them 34 players that played today can all hold their head up high and say that they had a good match. I think all of the Salford players tried incredibly hard. Of course, if they would have made the grand final against Leeds, they would have been without Andy Ackers and without Ken Seo. Towards the end of the match, Ken Seo, he was knocked out cold by an accidental knee. The referee decided to give that a penalty, which today, when things started to boil over, the referee did control both sets of players, but some of the decisions that he made today were quite bizarre. There was a lot of lying down from Salford today, I noticed. I think that might have been an instruction from Paul Rowley before the match that if we can try to get some penalties from some of their tackles, let's do it, because there were a few Salford players today that they were lying down after getting tackled and pretending to be hurt when they weren't. I definitely know that Ken Seo and Andy Ackers were in a bad way, but for some of the other players, especially that Atkin, he did a lot of play acting today, and I weren't impressed with that. But I think overall it were a good match. Unfortunately, it's going to be remembered for that professional foul on Lafay, but we move on to the grand final next week. So anyways, that's been me review of the semi-final between Salford and St Helens. St Helens meet their 4th grand final in a row, and as for Salford, the quest for a first major trophy since 1976 goes on. So anyways, this has been Rugby League History. Hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be doing some more videos coming up next week. Look out for those. So this has been me, Rugby League History. I'll catch us all later in the next one. Tatty bye for now.